Okay, so uh, have you ever found yourself just completely swamped by what other people expect? Or maybe you're trying to make a big change, in your own life, but you're constantly thinking, oh, what will they think?
Yeah, or just feeling stuck,
Right.
wondering, like, why aren't things fair?
Exactly. If
Ah.
uh, if any of that sounds familiar, then you are definitely in the right place today.
Yeah, today we're diving deep. We're getting into something that, honestly, it has the power to really shift your perspective. It's the Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins.
And this isn't just like some flash in the pan trend.
No, not at all. It's
Yeah.
being called a really profound, life-changing tool. Millions of people are genuinely talking about it because, well, it seems to just work.
Right. So our mission for this deep dive is really to cut through all the noise. We want to pull out the most important bits, the key knowledge from this uh, really impactful material.
Think of it as a shortcut, maybe,
Duh.
to being really well informed.
Mm.
And we'll throw in some surprising facts, some insights, just to keep things interesting.
We're going to explore how, believe it or not, two really simple words can give you back so much freedom.
Yeah, freedom from that constant, exhausting burden of trying to manage everyone else,
Right.
so you can protect your own time, your energy.
And focus on what actually matters
Yeah,
to you.
exactly. We'll look at where it came from, how it applies to, well, pretty much everything. Personal motivation, stress,
Friendships, family stuff, even finding love.
all of it. And ultimately, how this whole idea empowers you to, like, take the reins of your own life, your own happiness.
Okay, let's start at the beginning then, the origin story. Because this let them theory, it really comes from Mel Robbins' own pretty intense personal struggle, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Picture this. She's 41 years old. She's got $800,000 in debt.
Wow.
Yeah. Unemployed. Her husband's restaurant business crumbling. She talks about feeling just completely lost. She tried being a public defender, a life coach. Like, nothing was clicking.
That's a tough spot. So what shifted? What happened?
Well, in that kind of rock bottom moment, she says this simple, almost kind of ridiculous thought popped into her head.
Okay.
Inspired by watching a NASA rocket launch countdown on TV, she thought, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. What if I just counted backward and launched myself out of bed?
Seriously, just like that.
Yeah, it sounds silly, she admits it, but she was desperate enough to try it. And, well, it worked.
So that became the 5-second rule.
That's it. And she started using it for everything. Getting out of bed, yeah, but also making those scary phone calls for networking, opening the bills that were piling up.
Things you just avoid.
Totally. And she learned this huge lesson. Action is the answer. And also, maybe the harder truth, that no one is coming to save you. It wasn't glamorous, she stresses that. It was grueling, just one 5-second move after another, slowly, like, digging her way out.
That kind of internal shift, just from counting backward,
Yeah.
it sounds incredibly powerful. But then taking that public, I can imagine she'd be hesitant.
Oh, completely. Even though it changed her life, she was really reluctant to share this, like, simple little rule. Then she gets invited to speak at one of the first ever TEDx conferences.
Okay, big deal.
Huge. And she's riddled with anxiety. On stage, she says she basically had a 21-minute anxiety attack and just blurted out the 5-second rule. Yeah, she thought it was the worst moment of her life, but then, like, a year later, the video just explodes, goes viral, becomes one of the most watched TEDx talks ever.
Wow, and the stories that came from that,
Yeah.
people changing jobs, losing weight, getting sober.
Even preventing suicide, over 1,000 reported cases, it's staggering.
It really shows the power of a simple mindset shift. So, okay, if the 5-second rule is about getting yourself going, right, self-improvement, how does the let them theory fit in? Is that about the other people?
Exactly. That's the key difference. The 5-second rule helped her change her relationship with herself. It got her into action. But the let them theory, that's about transforming your relationships with other people. It's about freeing yourself, really, from the weight of what they think, their drama, their judgments. So you can actually focus on your own stuff, your dreams, your happiness.
Okay, let's unpack that core idea more.
Mm.
Because the problem it tackles, it's something we all do, right? We kind of unknowingly give our power away.
Totally. We try to please everyone. We bend over backwards. We try to keep the peace, thinking if we just try hard enough, then everyone will be happy.
And what happens? You end up feeling like, man, no matter what I do, it's just never enough.
That's it, exactly. And Mel has this fantastic story. It's called The Prom That Changed My Life, that just illustrates this perfectly.
Oh, yeah, I've heard about this one.
So it's her son, Oakley's prom. Total chaos beforehand. She's frustrated because everything's last minute. She's embarrassed because she made him a corsage and he refused it.
Oh, awkward.
Super awkward. And his date already had one. Then she's annoyed because the boys have zero plans for dinner before the prom.
Okay, I'm feeling the stress just hearing this.
Right. And then comes the breakthrough. Her daughter, Kendall, sees her mom basically spiraling and just says it. Mom, if Oakley and his friends want to go to a taco bar for pre-prom, let them.
Just like that.
Just like that. And she kept going, let them get soaked if it rains. Let them get ruined. Mom, you're being annoying. Let them show up to prom in wet tuxedos and dresses. Let them go eat where they want. It's their prom, not yours. Just drop it.
Wow, that's direct. And that story went viral too.
Huge. Became like the 6th most shared podcast episode globally for Apple that year because it hit such a nerve.
And the core truth in that story is?
It's that you can never actually control or change another person. It's impossible. The only person you are ever in control of is you.
Your thoughts, your actions, your feelings.
Exactly. And here's the amazing part. When you stop trying to manage everybody else, you actually gain more control over your own life. And kind of paradoxically, your relationships often get better.
Okay, let them.
Yeah.
It sounds incredibly freeing, but I can also see how maybe it could be taken wrong. Like, does it mean just detaching or giving up on people? Is there more to it?
That's a really important question. And yes, there's a critical second part. It's not just let them. The full equation is let them plus let me.
Ah, okay. Let them plus let me.
Yeah. Think of it like a seesaw. Imagine someone does something maybe you feel excluded from a trip your friends planned.
Mm-hmm.
If you internalize that, if you make it mean something about you, you're giving them power. You go down on the seesaw, weighed down by feeling, inferior, jealous, insecure, left out, those heavy thoughts.
Right, okay, so saying let them.
Yeah.
That's like pushing off the ground on your side of the seesaw.
Exactly. You free yourself from that negativity, you shift the power dynamic, you go up, they go down, metaphorically speaking.
Got it.
But, and this is crucial, if you only say let them, you can end up isolated, maybe feeling a bit smug or morally superior, but you haven't actually fixed anything or improved the connection.
Okay, so that's where let me comes in.
Yes. This is the vital second step. This is where the real work and the real growth happens.
So using Mel's own example, she felt left out by friends. Let them gave her some space.
Right, it created mental breathing room. And then she could ask, okay, what's my part in this?
Taking responsibility.
Yes, which led her to things like, okay, let me stop expecting others to automatically include me. Let me take responsibility for my own social life. Let me prioritize connection and maybe let me reach out genuinely and try to reconnect.
So it's not passive at all. It's about taking action, but the right kind of action.
Yeah.
Focused on yourself.
Precisely. And that's really the core takeaway here. Your happiness, your health, your social connections, they are your responsibility. Nobody else's.
That line again. No one is coming to save you.
It sounds harsh, but it's meant to be empowering. This whole theory, it's basically your invitation to step into your own let me era.
Okay, I like that. Your let me era. Let's take this theory now and see how it plays out in real life. Starting with something huge.
Yeah.
Managing stress, protecting your peace.
Yeah, because stress is sneaky. Our reactions are often so automatic, right? Stress leads to self-doubt, procrastination, burnout.
And it literally hijacks your brain. Dr. Aditi Nirukar from Harvard Med School, she wrote The 5 Resets. She explains that stress is physiological. Your prefrontal cortex, the thinking part of your brain, basically loses control. You're in survival mode.
Totally. And Mel gives this super relatable example, calls it the airport stress test.
Okay.
She's on a plane. Guy behind her is coughing, like constantly, not covering his mouth.
Ugh, been there.
Right. So she tries passive aggression, doesn't work. Then she politely asks him to cover his mouth. He still doesn't. It's stressing her out. She can't work.
So what's the insight?
The insight is you can't control him. You can't make him cover his mouth. The only thing you control is your response.
So the aha moment isn't about ignoring the cough. It's realizing the only thing you actually control is your internal reaction. The let me.
Exactly. And that realization gives you power back. Dr. Aditi points out that even just thinking, okay, let me take another breath, actually calms your nervous system. It stimulates the vagus nerve.
Right.
And that tiny action can stop the emotional hijacking. It lets you choose an intentional response instead of just reacting. It's about taking responsibility for your own state.
Okay, let's apply that to work. Say, promotions. You're working hard, doing everything right, but your boss just keeps dangling that promotion, stringing you along.
Yeah, super frustrating. The let them theory approach isn't about forcing the boss's hand. It's, okay, let them string me along.
Doesn't sound very proactive.
But the action comes with the it's okay, let me go get what I deserve, which means updating your resume, networking, looking for a place that will recognize your value. Because your career, that's your responsibility too.
That makes sense. Taking control of what you can control. Mel also uses this kind of funny analogy involving dog poop and politics.
Yeah, it's vivid. She sees someone letting their dog poop in a park off leash and not picking it up right after a ranger complained about that exact thing.
Okay.
Her internal reaction is fascinating. She thinks, should I ignore it, pick it up myself, find the owner, smear it on their car? The point is, her response is unique to her.
Right. We all react differently.
Exactly. And she connects that to the complex stress of politics. In both cases, the dog poop, the political landscape, you can't change what just happened. You have to let the event be what it is,
Yeah.
but you can choose your next step. Let me stay engaged. Let me be vocal. Let me work towards the change I want to see in the future.
It connects back to that Margaret Mead quote, doesn't it? About thoughtful, committed citizens changing the world.
Precisely. Let them acknowledges reality. Let me determines your future action. It applies everywhere.
Okay, let's shift gears slightly. Chronic comparison. This is a big one for so many people.
Huge. And the first truth is blunt. Life isn't fair. Full stop.
Yeah.
Focusing on what other people have, their looks, their family connections, their natural talents. Mel calls it self-torture. It just drains you.
She mentions her daughter Sawyer comparing herself to her sister Kendall, right? Those fixed attributes.
Exactly. And her rule of thumb is, if you can't change it in 30 seconds, you can't change it. So let them have their fixed traits, and crucially, let me focus on mine. What can I work on?
But isn't there also like an upside to comparison sometimes? Can it be useful?
Yes, that's the empowering flip side. Comparison can be a teacher. When you see someone else achieve something you want.
Instead of getting jealous.
Right. You can say, okay, let them lead the way. Their success might actually show you the formula, the path. It's like an invitation from your future self. You flip jealousy into inspiration.
So comparison is a blueprint, not just a trap. I like that.
And the key to actually using that blueprint, it's what Mel calls putting in the reps.
The actual work.
The actual work. The boring, irritating, uncomfortable stuff. She quotes Tom Brody. You don't have to be special. You just have to be what most people aren't. Consistent, determined, and willing to work for it.
So it shifts the focus away from thinking others are just lucky and puts it squarely on your own consistent effort. Let me put in the reps.
Exactly. It's all about taking back control.
Okay, let's talk friendships, adult friendships. Why do they feel so hard sometimes?
Well, Mel identifies this big shift. After your 20s, friendship stops being a group sport,
Right.
built into school or activities or your first jobs.
Yeah, it just sort of happens then.
Right. But then it becomes an individual sport. People scatter. Marriage, kids, moving, divorce, retirement. Lives diverge. And it can get lonely. She calls this the great scattering.
That's a really good name for it. It captures that feeling. So the structure disappears.
Totally. And friendships naturally come and go because of it. So you find yourself having to say, okay, let them move away. Let them prioritize their new family or friends. Let them not text back immediately. It happens.
The theory mentions 3 pillars of friendship.
Yeah. Proximity, timing, and energy. Proximity is just being around each other. There was a study suggesting it takes like 70 to 200 hours to form a real friendship.
Wow, that's a lot of hours.
It is. Timing means being in a similar life stage. And energy is just, clicking with someone. And these pillars naturally shift as life happens.
So the let them part is accepting that shift. But how did Mel apply the let me part? She talks about feeling lonely after moving later in life, right?
Yes, in her 50s, she felt totally isolated. And her daughters basically had to push her out the door. They made her go knock on a new acquaintance's door.
That sounds terrifying.
She said she felt like such a loser. But it taught her a huge lesson. Adult friendship doesn't just happen to you anymore. It's something you have to actively create.
So her let me actions were?
Things like, okay, let me be the one to introduce myself first. Let me be curious about other people. Let me just smile at strangers. She literally created her community by starting activities like a walking group and inviting people.
So the takeaway for friendships is that connection requires effort. Consistent, open effort.
Yes, and flexibility. You have to accept that some people won't click, some are busy, some move away. Let them. Your job is the let me part. Let
Yeah.
me be understanding. Let me be the one to make plans sometimes. And trusting, as she says, that some of your most favorite friends you haven't met yet.
I love that. Okay, what about trying to motivate someone else to change? A loved one, maybe their health, or a job, or a habit.
Yes. This is tricky territory. Wanting them to change is normal, but pushing them, applying pressure, it almost always backfires.
Why is that?
Because humans have this fundamental hardwired need to feel in control of their own lives. Pressure creates resistance. So the theory says, first, let them be. Let adults be adults.
Okay, so you can't force it, but can you influence it?
Yes, influence is different from control. You can often guide them in a way that they feel like it was their idea. The absolute key. Model the behavior you want to see.
Be the change you want to see in them, basically.
Pretty much. And Mel offers a really practical tool for this called the ABC loop.
Babysit,
It's
yeah.
is apologize, then ask open-ended questions. First, you apologize for any past judging or pressuring. That lowers their defenses.
All right.
Then you use something called motivational interviewing. You ask open-ended questions like, so how do you feel about your health these days? Or what's bothering you about your job situation?
Letting them identify the problem themselves.
Exactly. And you can use the 5 whys technique, gently asking why multiple times to help them dig deeper. This creates internal tension, helps them see the gap between where they are and where they want to be. And your job. Let them talk and
Yeah.
let me listen. No fixing, just listening.
Okay, that's A. What's B?
B is back off and observe their behavior. After that conversation, you stop the pressure completely. Give them space to think, to marinate on what they discovered.
Let them sit with it.
Yes. And meanwhile, you just keep modeling the positive behavior yourself, maybe eating healthy or exercising, whatever it is, but making it look easy and enjoyable, not like a chore. Just let them be and observe.
And C.
C is celebrate progress while you continue to model change. The instant you see them take even a tiny step in the right direction, maybe they go for one walk, or skip dessert once you celebrate it. Immediately.
Why immediately?
Because research, like Dr. Sherratt's work, shows that immediate positive feedback, even just a compliment, is a huge driver of behavior. We're wired to move towards pleasure. Your positive attention acts like fuel. So let them be on their journey, and let me use the science to gently encourage them.
So the takeaway is influence, don't force, model, listen, celebrate. That's really powerful.
It takes patience, but it works far better than nagging.
Now, what about when someone is really struggling? Not just needs motivation, but is like in a tough spot.
Yeah.
Our instinct is often to jump in and rescue them.
It is, and sometimes you absolutely have to. If it's a dangerous situation, she uses the example of drinking and driving, you intervene, period.
Right. Obvious safety issues.
But in most struggles, rescuing actually prevents healing. It sounds harsh, but Mel says the more you rescue, the more they sink.
Why?
Because adults only truly heal and change when they are ready and when they do it for themselves. You cannot want it more than they do. So as painful as it is, sometimes you have to let them struggle.
That involves some hard truths, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like enabling them, maybe with money or by making excuses, actually hurts their independence.
It does. Allowing natural consequences, while difficult to watch, is often necessary for them to learn and grow.
She shares a personal example about parenting, right?
Yeah.
With her daughter's anxiety.
Yes, a really poignant one. She regrets enabling her daughter's anxiety by letting her sleep in their bed whenever she was anxious. It taught her daughter avoidance, not resilience.
So she couldn't control the anxiety itself.
No. But she realized she could control her response. The let me became, let me support her by assuring her that she has the strength within her to handle this hard feeling. Even if that meant gently guiding her back to her own bed. It's about building their capacity, not removing the challenge.
That ties into financial independence, too, which can be really controversial.
Definitely. Mel makes the point. If adult children are violating the terms of financial support, like not working towards independence, sometimes the necessary let me for the parent is, let me cut them off financially.
Oof, that's tough.
It is. But her logic is, if parents pay the bills, they implicitly get a vote in your life choices. If you want true independence, start paying your own bills. She mentions her husband, Chris's brother, refusing him a business loan. It felt harsh then, but it forced Chris to find his own ultimately successful path.
So if rescuing isn't helpful, what does true support look like in these situations?
It looks like showing up without needing to be asked, like her cousin, who just came and cleaned her house after she had a baby. It's practical help, like bringing paper plates. They don't have to do dishes. It's inviting them to do normal things, keeping them connected.
Being alongside them, not carrying them.
Exactly. Your job is to stand by their side and hold the light high. Be a beacon of hope. Believe in their ability to get better. Let them borrow their belief from you. That's genuine support. It empowers, it doesn't enable.
Okay, last big area. Choosing the love you deserve.
Yeah.
Dating these days. It feels hard, like a game sometimes with the apps and social media.
It really does. And Mel says, look, you absolutely deserve an amazing love story. But we often end up chasing relationships that aren't right, making excuses for bad behavior.
This is where the let them theory gets brutally honest, I bet.
Totally. It forces you to stop making excuses. Let them reveal who they truly are through their actions. If they don't text back consistently, if they make promises they don't keep, if the signals are mixed.
Let their behavior speak.
Yes. Let their behavior be the clear message. And here's the kicker. Letting them is the easy part. Let me is the hard part, because you don't want to see the truth.
Ouch. So the let me is,
Let me accept the truth that their behavior is showing me I am not a priority. Or let me see that this isn't the kind of relationship I actually want. It requires facing reality.
and what about ending relationships? When is it time? It's not always about bad behavior. Sometimes it's just incompatibility.
Right. Beyond just effort and willingness is their fundamental compatibility. She gives examples like one partner wanting to move across the world or having different desires about having children. These aren't small things.
Things that maybe can't be compromised on.
Exactly. The theory says, your partner is not changing, they are moving to London. With or without you, let them. And now, let me make a choice based on that reality. Remember, Dr. Gottman's research suggests almost 70% of relationship conflicts are fundamentally unresolvable. Sometimes you have to end things before they end you.
And dealing with a heartbreak after.
Acknowledge it. Heartbreak is grief. It's real pain. So let me grieve. Let me cry in my bed for days if I need to. Give yourself permission.
But Ben,
Then take action. Practical steps. Get rid of triggers, photos, texts. Maybe give your bedroom a makeover. Reach out to friends. Fill your calendar, even with small things. Pick a personal challenge. Ask yourself, what would I be doing right now if the love of my life was just around the corner? Because, as she says, time doesn't heal all wounds. What you do with your time does.
it's a great line. What you do with your time.
And the ultimate point here, the ultimate application of the let them theory is how you treat yourself.
Ah.
A relationship doesn't make you worthy of love. Your existence does. You are the love of your life. So, yes, let them be who they are. But more importantly, let yourself be who you truly are.
So it comes back to, let me prioritize my own happiness. Let me pursue my dreams. Let me set boundaries that protect my peace.
Exactly. The real love story is the one where you choose yourself first.
Always.
Okay, so let's try to wrap this up. The core idea. Use the sky analogy. Yeah, think of the sky. You can't control the clouds. You can't stop the storms. They just happen. People and situations are like the weather. You can't control them.
But you can control how you navigate it. You can carry an umbrella. You can dance in the rain. You can chase the sun.
Precisely. That's the let me. You choose your response to the weather.
And if you don't use this theory, what's the cost? If you don't embrace, let them.
You waste so much energy fighting reality. You let other people's worries, their actions, their insecurities, their opinions dictate how you feel and what you do. It's exhausting.
And the cost of not embracing let me.
Well, then you're leaving your life up to chance, aren't you? You miss opportunities. You don't introduce yourself. You don't go for the career. You don't start the creative thing. You don't build the relationships you want. You're waiting instead of creating.
It really boils down to empowerment and responsibility. It's not blaming. It's liberating, actually.
It truly is. You are in charge. You're responsible for your happiness, your energy, your progress. You get to define what matters.
So this is the invitation.
This is the invitation. We are so excited to officially welcome you to your Let Me era.
Let me get started. Let me finally take that risk. Let me write that book or start that project. Let me be truly honest about what I want.
Let me get in the best shape of my life. Let me apply for that dream job, even if it scares me. Let me stop wasting energy on people who don't value me back.
Let me create a life that actually makes me feel proud, a life that makes me happy, a life where I use my precious energy to really enjoy every moment I have.
And hey, if right now you don't quite believe in you, let me believe in you for a bit. If you don't know if you can do it, let me know it for you.
And if you have no idea where to even start,
Let me help you take that very first step.